she was falling asleep when she heard a really scary snarl, like snorting sound right next to her. Hi babes, welcome back to the channel. I hope that you're doing so well today. For today's video, it is another installment in my spooky stories series on my channel, and for the months of September and October I'm uploading all Halloween and fall related content. So if you like any of that stuff, this is a place for you, and you're more than welcome to stay here a while and get to know me. And definitely subscribe, hit the post notification bell so you don't miss any time I upload, and like this video. That will help my channel grow, and I'm trying to reach 1,000 subscribers, and that would just mean the world to me if you decide to join this family. So without further ado, let's get into today's spooky stories. It is just one spooky story, sorry, but it is actually a little continuation on the video that I did previous. So I talked about briefly how my mom had a demonic encounter in our house, and it's nothing too scary, knock on wood, but it is still a little bone chilling, and I just wanted to share it. So this is that story. It was the fall of 2018, and I had just moved out and went to the University of Wisconsin Stout, so I was not living here with my mom anymore, and she was just with my dog Deuce and her. So she was in this big house alone. She was a little nervous, she told me, because of, like, you know, it was her first time being alone, empty nest, you know, things like that. And she is in a relationship with my stepdad Robert, but he was living in his own house at the time, so she would, you know, spend time at both houses, but mainly was here because of Deuce. And it was one fall night, it was pretty chilly out, and she decided to just sleep up here in this bedroom, not mine but the one next to me. And she was falling asleep when she heard a really scary snarl, like snorting sound right next to her. It sounded like it was right next to her in bed, like it was laying right next to her, but nothing was there. It scared her so much she jumped right out of bed and she ran downstairs to her bedroom. She told me the next morning that she heard someone snoring next to her, so we were like, oh, it's my dad, like he used to snore, haha, you know, like that's so cute but kind of creepy. Then it wasn't until a few months later my mom told me the truth, and it was actually the snarling growl sound that she heard, not a snoring sound. And she's like, I was so mixed in sleep that I thought it was a snoring sound, but it wasn't until I was reflecting back on what the experience was like that it was like a snorting sound, like it was an animal or something next to me, and it was terrifying. And Deuce, he was a little chihuahua, like he didn't make that sound. He would snore, but like it was so quiet, it didn't sound anything like that. And so my mom said ever since then I never really wanted to sleep in that bedroom anymore, at least not by myself. When I found that out, I actually took Palo Santo and I cleansed the room, and this was before I knew that Palo Santo a lot of times is unethically sourced, so I don't buy it anymore. I haven't since like 2 years ago, and I still have that one pack, so I'm gonna use that up, and then I'm gonna ethically source it if I want to use it again. So I used that, and I just told the spirit, whatever demonic presence was in there, sinister, to leave. It wasn't welcome anymore and it needed to go. And since then my mom said it felt much lighter in the room. It didn't feel as scary, and she had no experience like that since. And it wasn't until this fall that she had another experience. She was actually in the bedroom with my stepdad Robert, and he has since then moved in, and Deuce passed away already almost 2 years ago in the winter of 2018, so she was like completely alone after he passed away, and it made her even more anxious, like sleeping and stuff, because she didn't want to hear those noises. But since I cleansed the room, she didn't hear it. And it was the fall then of 2019 that she was asleep, and she heard 3 loud knocks like right beside her on the wall. She stirs Robert awake and she goes, wake up, someone's at the door. And he goes, no one's at the door, what are you talking about? I didn't hear anything. And my mom was the only one that heard the knocks. She wasn't dreaming, she was half asleep when she heard it, and they were really loud, she told me. She didn't really understand what the knocks meant, she just thought maybe it was a ghost or something. But Ed and Lorraine Warren have talked about like 3 loud knocks does mean like the Father, Son, and Holy Spirit, and a lot of times it is like something sinister mocking the Christian religion. So I don't know if it was a sinister presence in the house again, or if it was just a ghost knocking randomly 3 times, who knows. But that I kind of tie to that previous experience my mom had, and it happens usually early in the morning, like 3 a.m., which is also known as the witching hour. So that is the time my mom had an experience with demonic presence, and pretty scary. It does make me scared sometimes to go to bed because I just don't know if anything's watching us or, you know, going to do something. So I'm very careful and make sure that I don't welcome anything that's not wanted in this household. I think it draws us back to when my sister and I would sometimes play around with an Ouija board, and Hi guys, so my battery just died. I'm so sorry. But as I was saying, I think it alluded to the fact that my sister and I would play with like the Ouija board and things like that. And when you're growing up, like those things are like kind of cool and like spooky to play with. Whereas as I've learned throughout the years, they are super scary and you do not want to play with Ouija boards. So please do not use one. They're very terrifying and they can welcome unwanted presences into your house or space, or it'll attach to you, so just be careful. And I hope that you have a great rest of your day. This was today's Spooky Stories episode. Stay tuned for next Wednesday's video. Stay safe and shine bright. Bye.